All right, guys, another early one, 6 a.m. here at HQ, and we've got a fun surprise for our intern Jeremy today. Mike, what'd you tell him? Just show up here.
Show him with coffee and golf clubs. That's it.
That's it. He has no idea what's coming. We got a little surprise for him today, so he should be here any second.
There he is.
Yes, bro.
What is this?
You ready?
What's happening?
You ready to jam? You ready to play?
We're going to play golf or?
We're going somewhere a little different.
Okay.
We're going to 5-iron Baltimore
No way.
to get you fitted for a full bag.
No way.
Yeah, dude.
When, right now?
Right now.
You ready to drive to Baltimore?
Who's driving?
We'll make Frank drive.
I was watching football last night till like 1 o'clock in the morning.
Drive, mate.
You sleep in the car. Get that coffee and go.
Let's go.
No idea.
You don't have to worry.
I haven't driven to Baltimore, I think, ever in my life. 5-iron, nope, not New York. South Central Avenue, Baltimore, 179 miles away. Yeah, sounds good to me. Here we go.
Oh boy. 9:38.
3 hours. That's not so
at all.
bad.
This might be a regular thing.
The best time to leave is right now. Let's go. All right, guys, so just got here, Baltimore. I'll tell you what, not a terrible drive. Took us about 3 hours, 45 minutes, roughly, from HQ in Jersey. And a lot of you guys may know 5-iron is like that cool spot to really hang out, play golf. You've seen some of the pictures, you've seen us talk about it before. But what you might not know is that they've got an epic fitting lab in here, state-of-the-art technology, so Jeremy's in for a real treat. So we're gonna mask up, head in, and show you around the fitting lab.
Hi Ian, Fist Bumps here. Nice to meet you.
Frank, how's it going?
Welcome on in, guys.
Today, we brought our guy Jeremy with us to put him through a full bag fitting along with Matt Decker. Matt is the head of club fitting and building here at 5-iron. And Matt, one thing I want to share with you about Jeremy. There is one hell of a golfer inside of that kid.
All right.
However, he's never been fit. Believe it or not, he hits the ball 300 yards off the tee. He's never been fit.
Big off the rack guy or what?
Big off the website.
Off the
Off the
website.
site.
Safe online shopper.
So what we want to do here is get him dialed in. We want to see clubs being built. We want to see who pulled the good golfer out of him and get him in the proper equipment.
All right, we'll look for that wow factor. Get the, it does make a big difference. So we'll start with the fitting and then we'll move upstairs. We'll build a little bit in the build shop and kind of see how the process works.
Great.
And tell us a little bit about the fitting lab, because so many people know 5-iron for like the great place to hang out, grab a beer, play a little golf, but maybe not everybody knows about all the capabilities you have here.
Yeah, so the fitting lab kind of came from 5-iron golf. We work together really well. So the fitting lab is, full bag fittings, iron fitting, driver fittings. We use the best technology, we have the best products, and then we build the majority of the stuff in-house. We kind of are a hybrid build shop at this point, but as we expand and grow, that'll be fully custom built so everybody knows exactly what they're getting.
All right, excitement level, 1 to 10?
Through the roof.
Through the roof.
Not even a number. Through the
Through the
roof.
roof, man. I saw it the whole ride down here. He is stoked. An 8 handicapper, 300 yards. Let's get him fitted. All right, let's go.
Let's do it.
All right, show us the way. All right, Matt. So take me through. What's the first thing we're gonna do today, getting started with a fitting like this?
Yeah, so we're gonna start with irons today. That's obviously the bulk of the bag, so I like to start there. While Jeremy warms up, we'll kind of talk through the interview process. So what our goals are, what our expectations are, what the budget is a big one for most people. So we'll kind of get through all those questions so that through the fitting I know what we need to kind of achieve, whether that's distance, consistency, contact, all those things. And then obviously the budget, we want to keep it inside the budget. That's a big goal we have is.
Okay, and then talk to me about some of the technology you're going to be using today as part of this fitting. I see TrackMan.
Yep.
How do you leverage that?
Yeah, so we use TrackMan for all of our fittings. We use it for all of our teaching too, so it keeps it consistent with the numbers. TrackMan is, it's offering all the data we need for fittings, launch angle, spin rates, the angle of attack, dynamic loft, all those numbers. It really gets deep in the fitting. So that is just going to optimize the performance of the club by showing us all the data. We'll kind of work through all the fitting wall here to try to find the best option for them.
All right, so Jeremy, it sounds like you're in some good hands. You warmed up from that 4-hour drive?
All right, Jeremy, so you have the 919 Tours, the irons from your previous irons. So, we'll kind of keep it in that same range. You have obviously a good swing, so I think you can hit it fine with those. But we'll kind of look at the numbers that we've already got with yours, which kind of is yours, and then we'll go from there. Once we get the irons set, then you can kind of work off the hybrids, but you have to kind of know where those irons are first before you can start throwing hybrids in the bag. So we'll start with irons. So Jeremy,
yeah, guys, haven't been through a full bag fitting before, which you may have saw. Mike, remember our full bag fitting? You get a little worn out.
You do. It's a lot of swings.
It's a lot of swings.
a lot of swings.
And we've had people before tell us that if you can break it up into multiple sessions, that's sometimes smart to do. But he's young.
He's got the energy.
He's got the energy. We can do the whole thing
He's
today.
20.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, to
No
be 20
excuses.
again.
No excuses.
All right, Jeremy, so we'll kind of start in the same, boat as the 919 Tours. So we've got the 921 Tour, the update to your irons. I brought over the HMB from Mizuno, which is going to be a little bit more blade looking, but it's got a hollow body. And then the MMC, which is Mizuno's other line, similar to that Tour iron. And then the P770 from TaylorMade. Okay. And then as far as shaft goes, you're swinging an X100, so that's a heavy stack shaft. So I kind of kept you in that same baseline. If we start seeing, I'll kind of put you through some different shaft profiles. If we start seeing better numbers or worse numbers, we'll obviously take out the stuff that's not working. So.
So when you have access to multiple brands,
Yep.
what is the starting point? Do you start with the brand that he's used to, or is there something that gears your eye towards something else?
Yeah, it usually doesn't have to do with the brand as much because, somebody might just have a brand from 20 years ago or something like that. So that, some people are a little brand biased, some people aren't. So I like to start with the shaft. I think the shaft profile is a big, huge component if you've never been fitted for, especially. Once we have established that shaft, we'll move through similar shafts with the same head, try to keep it apples to apples, find that shaft, and then we can kind of bump through the heads to see, which head performs better with that shaft that we've already been kind of fitted for. So now with our irons, most of the building's going to come from the OEM. So we're using the OEM fit carts. So we're kind of using whatever shafts they offer. Now with our wood fittings, they're all universal. So we build those all in-house. So then we can actually do like an apples to apples comparison because we are hitting the exact same shaft, just bumping it through the heads.
Gotcha. So that's what you primarily use in the build shop for upstairs.
Yep.
Is when you build those out.
Yep.
So we're starting with the similar head. You match the head that he's used to, and we're working our way through a few different shafts.
Yep. So we'll look at these numbers, see the difference, right? So this head is the same head that we hit the first time. So we look at our dispersion, similar trend there, obviously less swings. But when we look at big numbers like swing speed, exactly the same, ball speeds a couple miles an hour off. We'll just kind of keep that profile rolling because you're used to a heavy shaft, so this is a little bit lighter, so that might kind of change things too for you. So, and typically pretty quick if something's not going to work. I mean, you'll see consistency, especially for a ball striker like Jeremy that's a better ball striker. If he starts hitting it wayward all of a sudden, you kind of know that shaft's not going to work, and we move into something else. Taking things away, obviously we have tons of options, is not a bad thing when you're doing fittings, obviously. So if we see 2 balls in a row that he hits really bad, then that's just an immediate removal of that from the database. So when we look at our kind of dispersion chart up there, you can see that pink circle, obviously small sample size again, but you can see it's much different. So to me, that shaft's just out.
So Jeremy, first time getting fit, right? So you're seeing what it's like working your way through different shafts.
Right.
Now, first time feeling it, is it surprising to you how much of a difference just the one change, just the shaft makes?
Yeah, it is. I didn't know coming into this how much a shaft can make a difference and really differentiate the feel of the club head itself. Shaft looks like it's playing a big part. I'm intrigued to see what else we got.
And it's cool to be able to try them right one after the other, so
Yeah.
you get that instant feedback, right?
Yeah, it's literally 2 minutes. Takes 30 seconds to switch a shaft out.
Hey, dude, I'm already getting some new ideas for HQ,
What do you got?
right? I mean, look at this. I think we gotta put some of this in. I've got like envy now.
With the couches,
Yeah,
the chairs.
The whole place.
The whole
I think
vibe.
our whole place needs to be like this.
Just yeah, exactly.
How sick is that?
It looks really cool.
Well, I think the biggest factor is while getting the fit is it's okay to hit bad shots. It really
Yeah,
is.
I mean, you want to
know.
see what's not working.
Right.
But isn't it cool for someone who's never been fit, for a fitter to come in and say, yeah, that is just not for you,
Yeah.
right away.
Yeah.
You can see it so fast.
My big thing with people is like, don't try to hit it down the center line. I
Right.
always make that joke, but you know, people really try to hit it straight. I just want the same shot every time, you know, same golf swing.
It's not
So,
playing golf. You're not on a golf course. You
Right,
want
yeah.
you want to get your club fit.
Right. You notice a difference in impact right away?
Yeah. Not used to it. Right by looking down at the face is a bigger club head. Not used to that bigger thin line, but like
So
we said,
aesthetically it's different, yeah.
we're trying to get better here. So we're gonna see what works. Got to be open to trying new things, right?
Yeah, man. I'm glad you're enjoying it.
So Jeremy is clearly blessed with a lot of distance here, but for him, you're keying in on dispersion.
yeah, so I mean, he already has the distance by swing speed. So, you know, his irons are a player iron. They're not really built for distance. So we kind of build that into the fitting. Now, like we were just talking about, you know, if we gain 2 or 3 or 5 yards or whatever, and that dispersion stays nice and tight, we're really not going to give that distance back up. Now, if it's a personal thing and he likes his distances where they are, then we kind of go that route too. But it's just really got to match the player in that sense. So if the goal is distance, obviously that's the first thing we look for. But for him, that's really, you know, a later down the road kind of talk.
So one thing you're probably witnessing, and want to add in my own 2 cents of what we've experienced in some of our own fittings, is the nice mix of you get with an experienced fitter and also the technology, because the experienced fitter is going to use their eye a whole lot, and they're also going to use the tech, but the tech is also there largely for the person being fit. I think, at least for me, it gives me a sense of confidence of knowing the numbers are right there in front of you. So sometimes we may think we hit a club a certain distance or whatever it may be, but it's hard to argue with the data when it's there. So you're getting this nice mix of like subjective but also empirical, and I think when those two work together, that's when you see a really quality fitting. So that's what we're seeing here with Jeremy. He's able to see the numbers but also leverage the experience that's there coming from the fitting as well. So with that, with Jeremy talking about how it feels, how much of your fitting mix is what the player says versus what you see in the data?
Yeah, so I think it's a huge piece. I mean, if somebody's going to buy, you know, golf clubs, play them for, you know, 1 to 10 years, who knows how long, but, you know, it's got to be something you like the feel of and the look of. Now, obviously, you can kind of adjust to certain things if something's glaring, but that's really, I'll never force somebody into playing something they don't like the look of or the feel of. So, you know, it does, yeah, it does,
Right.
you know, come huge into it. Now, if somebody's like, oh, I like the look of a blade, and they can't, you know, hit it in the center of the face, I will steer them away from that, as gently as possible, but...
All right, so we've got it narrowed down to 3 shafts. We've got a fairly similar distribution there.
Yep.
So one thing we haven't talked about yet, length, lie. I mean, I gotta imagine that's what we're diving into now.
Yeah, so now we'll kind of, now that we've narrowed it down, we'll start talking about that. I like to do it kind of towards the end because not all the OEMs are going to offer the same line angle heads, weight heads, shaft lengths. So if we kind of narrow it down from the beginning, we might limit our options, where I like to keep the options open and then we fit it towards the end. Obviously the finished product is going to be what we fit you for. So we like to keep the options open early and then narrow them down towards the end.
Gotcha. And having your own build shop here, you can probably do a little bit of bending too if you needed to.
Yeah, the line angle is obviously super important. So we measure it here. But the, if swings change over time, those things, then yeah, we can bend them in-house, and that's, a simple fix. So, length of the club we can adjust to, but that preferably you'd want that set from the get-go. The lie angle of the club, though, that's something we can kind of adjust if it's, tweaked with swing changes or, over time, just changing.
Or does it ever happen where someone comes in here with their current clubs and they just want you to make those changes instead of buying a new set?
Yeah, definitely. So, like spec checks, we'll have people come in, they'll, we'll hit a few of their 7 irons, a few of their 4 irons, kind of hit it off the lie board, see how they're doing. It's not just lie board that I look at really too, it's also ball flight. So Jeremy's tendency, if you look, is, a little to the right. So his lie angle might be a little bit more upright because the toe is digging right now and making it go right. So we'll kind of tweak that as we go. We'll test it on the lie board first, then we'll look at some of the numbers to see if that's gonna kind of coexist with each other.
All right, Matt, so the final result of the irons was what combination?
So we've kind of settled on 2 and really couldn't go wrong. So it was the P770 with TaylorMade with the money taper shaft,
right,
and then the MMC with that money taper as well. So really the shaft kind of sorted itself out, and then the head is up to him. Now Jeremy said the 770 felt a little better, so that would come into account. The dispersion rates were, right next to each other. There was really no difference. So, if it comes down to look and feel at that point, he's not going to make a, that's a feel call, and it's not going to be a bad decision because they're basically exactly the same numbers wise.
Great.
All right, irons are done. We're moving to drivers.
Yep. So we'll do the same thing.
Big stick.
Your drive.
That's your current driver setup right there?
Yeah, I'm
Can we
fine.
see that real quick? Jeremy's game in the M5. How old is that driver now?
How old?
Yeah.
About a year and a half.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hit it well?
Yeah.
I've seen you hit it well.
I mean, I lost by a yard to you.
You lost by a couple yards to me in a long drive competition, but we won't go there.
With driver, we're optimizing for distance. So when we look at launch angle and spin rate for driver, it's a little bit more important. And when we look at optimizer, so here's your last drive. So at your swing speed, max total should be 294. That one went 267. Now, that wasn't your longest hit. The first one I think was 299. So when we look there, obviously it was a little bit close, right? A little bit over. You kind of freaked it out there. Ball speed was a little low and launch angle was a little high. So with driver, we try to optimize those numbers a little bit better because we're looking for that total distance.
We go to food yet?
You're hungry, right?
Yeah.
I know, you need fuel, man. Hey, I heard the food here is amazing, so.
Let's see, I'm excited.
We're about to go check it out.
I'm excited.
Geez, is there ever such thing as too many options?
So hopefully we'll delete some of these
I guess you
by
like as many
profile.
tools as you can, right?
Yeah, I mean, so these are kind of a vast range of profiles. So you've got these two are the little softer profile, a little bit softer kind of midsection, and then you got these shafts that are a little more stout. This is kind of in the middle. So as we'll hit a couple of them and then see which profile really fits him. That's going to talk to that dynamic loft if the club needs to release a little bit more or less. So we'll kind of delete some of these without even hitting them, but just put them all down for now. So I like to start with the shaft, get that shaft profile, and then from there, once you got that shaft profile down, then you can see what the head is going to do compared, once you've kind of determined the shaft. So
Plus from there, you've got all the adjustability of the head, the hosel.
Yeah, and obviously the way we do it whenever it's universal, it's going to be the exact same shaft that you're hitting. It's not brand to brand, it's the same exact shaft, so then it's truly going to be head versus head when the shaft narrow down.
I'd be interested if anyone has ever actually done the calculation of how many potential options there. Yeah.
I have not.
There is. There's 4,327.
Listen, I mean, then you just stay here until you get that number worked out.
Let's go right.
Yes, that's fine.
Jeremy, you keep doing your thing, man. We're gonna eat.
What is that?
So this is the prettiest one up there. So this is the Hazardous Hulk. So it's the PVD green. We've hit the Hazardous Yellow, which is a little bit back weighted. This is not back weighted, but same profile as that Hazardous Yellow. Okay.
The Hulk.
I've had many a fitting try to fit themselves into that shaft just to get that look. So we're gonna bump through probably 2 more heads, the Ping and the Callaway, to see kind of how those numbers look, if we get some ball speed out of those, and then we'll tweak the head, whichever one we kind of feel is the best one with those 3 shafts and get our final numbers.
Think you got a few more driver swings in you?
Couple more.
Couple more?
Couple more.
We're almost there.
I'm losing strength.
Give us that last bit of steam.
I had to take a stop at the stern at the kitchen here, get some food in my system. But
Yeah, you're refueled. You made the turn. Let's go. Then on the other hand,
Dude, you're driving home, right?
you're already asleep?
Ready. Food coma.
oh yeah.
So far, are you happy with some of the gains you're versus what he came in with?
Yeah, I mean, I think the consistency, even off the first driver we set up, the consistency came down, and that's really, you know, he's already hitting it pretty far. So optimizing that distance by getting that spin rate down a little bit and the launch angle down a little bit, and then, you know, we really want to see that consistency. So when he's playing, you know, that's when you see it. Is obviously when it's in the fairway.
What's insane?
I don't know, it's just different. Jumps off the face now. Ball's jumping off the face. I would have never guessed it.
I like that number, Jeremy.
600 swings one day. Huh.
We did it. We got a clear winner. Talk me through it.
All right, so when we look at the dispersion, right, the big white circle is your original driver. Now that's the 3 best you hit with that driver, and you can see they're kind of a triangle, so there's really no center point. Now when we look at the other drivers, you know, we're getting distance out of it. That was a pretty easy win because we just got that launch angle and spin rate down a little bit. And then when we talk about the Ping G410 head and the Hulk TX shaft, the Ping is both that orange circle in the middle and that big yellow circle on the front. So you're seeing that distance gain, but you're also seeing that dispersion tighten up. And then once it's set to upright, that shifts the dispersion towards the middle a little bit. We've got the draw weight set a little bit, so we're not really missing left very much, right? So we want to get that draw weight so we just get it back to the center line and don't have that big right miss. When we look at your original driver, right, when we looked at that optimizer to start, we were looking for 292. We wanted that launch angle between 8 and 11, and that spin rate between 2,000 and 2,500. When we go up to that, now we did gain some swing speed. We went down 10 grams in the shaft, but when we look at here, right, now we're optimized. Now our ball speed is a little low. I think that was not quite center of the face, but our launch angle gets down to that like just over 12, and then that spin rate comes down to 2,500 inside those ranges, and then you see you're optimized, right? So we're gaining that. I think the average total drive with the Ping was 292, and with your driver it was 279. So we gained 12 yards.
12 yards.
Sick.
Now you gotta go challenge Mike again for a rematch.
I do.
So with wedges, obviously there's the shaft aspect of it, just like irons. Now for the most part, if we match up my preference is to match the gap wedge shaft because that's more of a full swing club. So we'll match that to the irons, and then we'll go a little bit softer in the other clubs. So those are clubs you're gonna, you know, hit some feel shots less than 100%. So you want it a little softer than, you know, Jeremy swinging an X. So we'll go into a stiff category, but keep that weight the same. And then we look at turf interaction. So here I've got the 54 I'm gonna have him hit just to see his attack angle. Then we're gonna talk through the, you know, what that does to the turf interaction, that attack angle, and what we need for, you know, bounce and loft.
Like we said, guys, Jeremy's young, he can take it. But one big takeaway that we've learned in some of the fittings we've done before, especially when you go full bag, now they're doing some metal woods and things like that, is if you're gonna do the full bag fitting, it's nice to try to break it up into multiple sessions because, you know, fatigue is a part of it. You wanna get that real accurate representation. If you think about it, when you're out on the course, you're not swinging the club 300 times. So if you decide to go for a full bag fitting, my personal suggestion would be to try to break it up into a session or two, but talk to your fitter. You can call 5-iron, you know, your local 5-iron, ask them what, you know, they have as far as what they do a full bag fitting, what their means of going about it is, but my recommendation would be to try to break it up a little bit so you don't end up with a couple blisters on your fingers.
All right, so now we'll head up to the build shop and we'll see kind of how that club is going to be built through the process.
All right, excellent. Let's go check out the build shop. All right, now I really feel like I'm in the lab. So, what components are we doing here right in the build shop?
Yeah, so I got a build here. Another Ping V410 driver, Fujikura Vista Pro shaft. And this is for a customer. And then Golf Pride multi-compound cord +4 grip. So kind of the process here is we've got the shaft, we've got the head, got the grip, now we kind of put them together. So we want to match that swing weight that we talked about during the fitting. So kind of as we roll, we will kind of cut it down. We'll dry fit the build first, get it cut to length, make sure that swing weight's right, then we'll glue it all together. The +4 size.
Yeah, it feels, you feel it.
All right, the kid's been fit. Matt, thank you. What'd you think?
Thanks for coming in. Jeremy, good swing, man.
Right, he's got a
Hopefully
good swing.
that dispersion comes down with the right fitting now, you know?
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, man.
So about 200 swings in the books today.
Yeah.
I mean,
Feeling,
what
I may fall asleep on the ride home.
was, you may and you should.
Yeah.
I mean, but
Yeah.
real quick, first fitting. What do you think?
It was unreal to feel the difference in each club. You really do feel it in each shaft, and you just got to be all right with hitting bad shots because it's really the bad shots that make your equipment fit for you. So it was good. It was fun to see each and every club and hit each and every club that I got to hit today.
All right, Matt. Thanks, man.
Thanks for coming out.
That was great.
Appreciate it, guys.
All right, long day. Time to head back to New Jersey.
Yeah.
Ready?
For the ride?
Oh, we're not sticking
Can you
over?
drive?
No, give me. Jeremy wants to just go play golf right now. He's feeling good. All right, Jeremy, how do you feel after about 300 swings?
My back is killing me, but I'm ready to go play golf.
You're ready to go. Oh, that was a lot of fun. So like I said, guys, hope you guys enjoyed it. I know Jeremy did. We had fun with it. So make sure you guys check out 5 Iron. If you're near Baltimore, you guys saw that space. Just incredible space. But now, Mike, we got our drive back.
You got the drive back.
I feel like I'm going to have 6 cups of coffee and these guys are going to be snoring in about 30 seconds. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed that one. Like I said, check out 5 Iron Baltimore. Cool place. See you guys soon.